Okay, hi family. Hello once again to SM Vibes YouTube channel. Hello to all our subscribers. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you to the returning subscribers, the new subscribers, and those who are visiting us for the first time. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting Global Africa. And I'm just shouting out to all our people, our great African family on the continent of our motherland Africa, in the diaspora, and people of African descent. Welcome once again to our channel, and we are actually presenting you episode number 3 of reflecting on our journey as Africans. So welcome once again.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome all Afro-descendant. Welcome to that new episode.
Yeah. Episode number 3.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, of reflecting on our journey as
yes.
Africans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, welcome. And we want to seize this moment to apologize for the unsuccessful first live stream. It wasn't intentional.
Mm-hmm.
We used the webcam device.
Yeah. It
didn't turn out
properly.
well, honestly. And
Yeah.
not only that, the voice was unmuted. So we just had to pull it down. We do apologize for that. Nevertheless, don't worry. We looking forward to organizing one very soon, sis. Yeah.
Yes, very soon.
Yeah. So that's we said on the 14th.
Yes, just like 2 weeks time.
Yeah. So on the 14th of this month, we will be organizing another one. So we'll keep you posted. Just keep an eye out. It's going to be a Friday. That is the 14th, which is next week actually, and it will be live from 8 o'clock in the evening, 8 p.m. GMT time zone. So welcome once again to all of you, and thank you so much for all our subscribers. We are able to do what we are doing right now because of you. So thank you once again. So sis, today we're going to be looking at what inspired us to reflect on the legacies of our great Pan-African leaders.
Yes.
So you were inspired as well, wasn't it?
In fact, I just studied the Pan-African much more in the French side. That means the Francophone. So how we can express this Pan-African perception and ideas from the French conception, because we know that there is 14 countries from Africa has been colonized by the French and still colonized by the French, even though they say that they have the independence, but which kind of independence? So this is it. So for what I discover is very sad, and
very sad indeed.
Also the independence that they have to regain against that independence, because they have never been free, never been independent at all. And what that make that independence
very disheartening.
How can I say, not take into effect is the CFA franc that France imposed on the colonies.
True.
So this only alone has created so many chaos in some countries, where you will see leaders be assassinated, but also economic instability in certain region, or you can see coup, or you can see that they bring the leaders into the Hague international tribunals. I mean, it's a complete mess. Absolutely a complete mess. So therefore, what I will say, the solution will be is that the Francophone has to focus and bring all the how can I say, the weight and the constitution on the African Union. Is only where they can evaluate and get out of that situation in a certain way. But it shouldn't be so. I will even say that the African Union has to change is, how can I say,
its policies, or?
has to change its policy, but also to reform the African Union in a certain way that is not only the leaders who sit, but also the population, also the citizen. Because it's only like this it can work. Because as we know that France has a heavy hand on all those 14 Francophone countries, therefore the leaders and the government of those countries cannot do much. But if the citizen has a seat, or the youth has a seat, the difference will be made.
True.
Because the leader be tight on the hands, but not the population, not the citizen. So it's where we have to amend in a certain way the African Union to make seat for citizen of African, whatever the countries. So then they will have their say. They have their idea, they will have the project, they can be involved, they can be creative in a certain way, imply and apply also policies. So it won't be only in the high level, but it will be in the low level of democracy. When we look at the population, the citizen, they will have their say. So it should be much more as well in the way of from low to high, not only the high.
So what you're trying to say?
Not only the elite. You have to look at as well the little. Those who are in the village, they have their say. Those who are in the city, the people, the citizen, they have their say. Not only the government. So it's only like this that Africa will be able to evolve and resolve more of its internal problem, yes. And from there, we will be able to focus first on Africa, first on the people, first on their needs, first on the trade, first Africa.
Okay, so that what you're trying to say in a nutshell is that you're saying that going forward, the African Union needs to look inwardly in terms of bringing on board the youths of Africa.
Exactly.
And also using what we call the bottom-top approach. So
exactly.
Getting those at the bottom of the society and bringing them on board in the decision-making process when it comes to Africa.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very, very important for us to look at this. I would say, from my opinion, I was really inspired by the 2 episodes regarding repositioning Africa and looking at it from the perspective of Francafrique and also Francophonie, and seeing how the so-called French international relations policies have played out in Africa, most especially in the 14 Francophonie countries in Africa. The Francafrique part of the so-called diplomacy too is a kind of a hard-on or hard power approach, and some of the components of these two, as they portrayed it to be, is all about introducing the French CFA monetary system, and also it also involves the French military intervention, which obviously has played out on several, occasions, whereby a lot of our French-speaking countries have suffered coup or toppling of governments in certain regions in the Francophonie West African region. And also it's led to a lot of instabilities in that region. So in a nutshell, I would say the so-called French diplomacy, international relations tool or policy, or whatever we want to call it, has really not helped our motherland, most especially the Francophonie region of Africa, to realize its full potentials, so to speak. Then when we look at it from the soft power approach, which is the Francophonie part, France, the French government, portrays itself as promoting peace, promoting good relations and economic cooperation and development in the French-speaking region of Africa. But in reality, right now, since all these countries gained their independence roughly about 60 years ago, the narrative on the ground right now is contrary to what the French government played out to promote, since they assumed they gave the countries their independence, but which is not true, because France's legacy in Africa is not a good one to be proud of, to be honest. The French government has further plunged that part of the continent in further abject poverty, and its so-called diplomacy policies, or whatever they want to coin it to be, was designed by intent to further destabilize that region and enrich the French economy at the expense of the Francophonie countries. It baffles me till this very moment how in the 21st century a country can demand what they call the so-called colonial tax, whereby the Francophonie countries will have to pay 95% of their annual GDP to France, and only left with 5% of their GDP to sustain their economies. Who does that in this day and age? So for me, when it comes to looking at, when we talk about brand equity, looking at France as alone, its brand name, France, it has a very negative vibe around it, because of what the French government and French political elites have done to Africa. You wouldn't want to associate yourself with a country that has never meant well for its own former colonies. So in a nutshell, I would say the so-called Francophonie and Francafrique, or diplomacy tools, is a scam. It is a scam, and it is also a failed project. Looking at it from an African perspective, it has not helped the Francophonie countries to fulfill their utmost potentials. And history shows that France is a country that is only out to exploit and to take from others. It has this kind of what I would call a parasitic nature, and we are really completely baffled by the outcome of what has happened to our fellow French-speaking countries in Africa. They are so traumatized. We have lost so many great leaders. I mean, sis, you can agree with me. We've lost so many great Pan-African leaders whose intent for our motherland was of good, but they were never given a chance to fulfill their purpose, like our great leader from Togo, President Sylvanus Olympio. His vision for Togo was absolutely amazing, you know. He meant well for the people, and he would have been a good example for other African countries as well. We also have the likes of Thomas Sankara, another great visionary leader we had. He wasn't given the chance to fulfill his purpose, you know, his purpose for his country. And we also had Gaddafi, you know. They meant well for the continent. They wanted the best for the continent, you know. And if only they were given a chance to bring their vision into fruition, Africa, our motherland, would have been in a better position. And if only the former president of Libya had the chance to realize his vision for not only Libya but Africa, by the year 2023, we would have been able to launch the Pan-African hard currency in gold. And this would have changed the whole narrative for our motherland Africa. So this is such a very sober moment for us as Africans, because it clearly shows that the true reality is Mother Africa has always been blessed with great visionary leaders. It's just unfortunate that there are external forces from the so-called Western global powers who never want to see Africa fulfill her best potentials. And we, as the new breed of Africans, are aware of this. And that is what inspired us to, you know, create contents around, you know, who actually is in control of the power in Africa right now. We know now that the West haven't really left the shores of our motherland, and the reality is playing out on the continent. So as Africans and as global Africans and people of African descent, please know from this very moment, our motherland Africa is the richest continent in the world, and as always being blessed with visionary leaders. It's just unfortunate that most of these great visionary leaders have not been given a chance to realize or actualize their vision for our great motherland. They were taken out before their time, and this has been a trend for the last 60 years. It's just to shed this light on you so that we can be aware of this. And going forward as one people, what can we do now as the new breed of Africans to address this issue? Okay. So sis, I will leave that to you to further shed your light on it.
What I will say is every countries have a diplomacy tool, which is soft power and hard power. Every country, they have to it's indispensable. I mean, it's important in diplomacy. Every country has to get that soft power and hard power. However, the hard power and the soft power that France used in Africa is something else. This is why they say that France and Africa relations are special, because what France as a francophonie, soft power, we do another country, for example the US, will not be the same as it does in Africa. It's completely different. In US, it will really apply the soft power. It will really consider the democracy, the rule of laws, the human rights. In Africa, it will disregard it, especially if there is an authoritarian leaders, and in that country there is the raw materials that it needs. It will deal with that leaders, but it will deal with it. It will disregard the human mind, the rule of laws, democracy.
True.
All of this, it will disregard it. So what we can say, it just like France deal with Africa just like it did with France. When for example France is in Africa, consider that it is in France. consider that it is its country. So it does whatever it wants. It put the policy whatever they want. Because you have to know that France has represented in every key position in the national interest of a country, which is normally shouldn't be. So France has represented in the central bank. It has a representative in the foreign affairs minister. It has a representative in, well, I should say, in the palace of the president. All those things shouldn't be. Have you seen a country who have a desk or a representative in the national key position of a country? For example, let's see US. And France has a representative in the palace, in the White House.
White House, yeah.
So then in the White House, he can say to the president what he wants and how he wants it. Have you seen that? Or in the foreign affairs?
True.
Or in the central bank, and say to those people, please, I want it that way. No, never you have seen that. But indeed, that is happening in Africa.
Exactly.
So it's something that all leaders of Africa, not only the Francophone, but the others, has to take into consideration. And also together, this is why I say that African Union is the platform where everything can change.
Absolutely.
And is where every country, even the Anglophone, can help the Francophone to get out of that situation. Is together.
It's true.
We can make it happen. Because the French Francophone countries have tried so many times to get rid of it. Rid of it of the CFA, rid of it of France, rid of this intervention, heavy hand of France on the national affair, but they couldn't.
It's true.
Each time they get assassinated, coup, military intervention, instability in the region. I mean, it's complete chaos.
It is sadly the
complete chaos.
It is sadly the reality.
So this is why I said the solution is the African Union. Because in the African Union is not only the French Francophonie countries who sit. You have the Anglophone.
In the boardroom, yeah.
You have the Spanish
and Portuguese.
Yes, and the Portuguese. So all together, we can put our idea and try to help each other. But mainly the French, because they are in a, how can I say, in a such situation that they had tried so many times. And the other country, Anglophone, they just sit and look because they do not have any idea how to approach that situation.
Which is the fact.
Because they do not know how to approach it, how to deal with it. But I think that now is the time to put all ideas together, to sit down and find a solution.
It's true.
Because the time is there. It's our time.
It is.
It's our turn.
It is actually.
And
it's the reality.
Yeah, now is our turn because Africa is now and the future.
It is.
Africa now going to rule the world.
It's true.
So this is why it is
critical.
Important and critical to be together.
It is.
Because the other country, European, knows that it is finished now. That is the time of Africa.
It is.
And they will not let us go free. So we have to fight. And we have to fight together.
It's true.
So this is why it is important. This is why it is important to put all the policies and apply all the policies to change what we have to change in the Pan-African Union because it will be our platform. It will be our foundation.
True.
Because it's time now to get rid of the colonialism.
Mm-hmm.
It's time.
It is time.
It's our time now. It's our time to show our own color. The way we want it, how we want it, and when we want it.
It's true.
Now is our time.
Mm-hmm.
So, those who are slumber, please wake up.
You have to wake up, absolutely.
Wake up now, because it's our time. It's our time.
Mm.
Our time is come to rule. Our time is come to show who is really Africa.
It's true. The sons and daughters
In
of
Africa, I know you have the potential to do it. You have the potential and the capability to do it. So do not hesitate. Now it's time to come together.
True. It is what it is.
You got the power. It's you have the power. Not the enemies, not the one who come and say, I want that. No, it will say just to make you scared. But if you follow that game, you still be fearful. It will still have dominion on you.
Which we don't want anymore.
So now it's your time to show that I got the power, not you. You got the power.
It's true.
You've got it. You've got it. You have a treasure in your hand and treasure underneath of your feet. And it's that everybody wants the thing you have underneath of your feet, the natural resources. You've got the power. You've got it. So it's time to say when and how I want it.
It's true. It's true.
This is it.
Okay. And I want to seize this moment to reach out to all global Africa. Both those of us whose ancestors were taken away from the shores of our motherland, Africa. Those in the diaspora who left Africa for economic reasons or had to move for one reason or the other. Our motherland, Africa, is all we have got. We are all in this together. We have no other continent apart from our motherland, Africa. Our time has now come as one people to now begin the unification. We now need to unify as one people to revive the legacies of our great Pan-African leaders. Great Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso, and our great leader of Togo, Sylvanus Olympio. For those of you who haven't read anything about these great people, please let us seize this moment to go look into their legacy. What is happening now today wouldn't have happened if only these great leaders were given a chance to fulfill their purpose.
Absolutely.
Now that they are not here, but we are here to represent them.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have no other choice than to make this happen. Our motherland, Africa, belongs to us. It is our right, it's our birthright. Our time to change the narrative has come. We all fight a common enemy. So I'm reaching out to all of you, people of African descent. Let us unify and arise. we have the opportunity right now to change the destiny of our motherland, Africa. Everything to make it happen has been laid down by our Pan-African leaders. All we need to do now is run with it. Hit the ground and run with it. It doesn't matter where we are, on the continent, in our motherland Africa, in the diaspora, or wherever you are across the four corners of the world. Our time has now come to change the narrative and destiny of our motherland Africa. So we were inspired to create this content about our great Pan-African leaders and also address the so-called French monetary system called the CFA. And we've seen that it is a failed project. It's a scam. It was designed by intent to cripple the economic development of the Francophone region. But collectively as one people, whether we're English-speaking Africans, French-speaking Africans, Portuguese-speaking Africans, or Spanish-speaking Africans, or Arabic-speaking Africans, collectively, having seen the legacies of these great leaders, we can now envision and create the Africa we want to see. Our time is now, like Sister rightly said. Our time is now. So let us walk together and follow the great legacies of our great visionary Pan-African leaders.
It's our time now.
It's our time. And thank you so much. We just wanted to reach out to you to let you know why we were inspired to create the 2 videos we did and posted in the last few days. To us at the moment, it is a sober kind of reflection because we now know the truth. The missing puzzle in the jigsaw has finally been found. And now we can now sit down as one people and begin to shape in the destiny of our motherland. Because we do fight a common enemy. But our time has come now to put our differences aside and focus on a common goal towards working together to realize the Africa, our beautiful motherland Africa that we want to see. The baton is now in our hands. Sis, would you want to wrap up with anything?
Just to say again that it's our time. The time is now. So do not delay. Just bring along your idea. Let's change things around because it's our time now.
Yeah,
definitely. And what the leaders have tried so long time to achieve, yes, now we can achieve it.
Absolutely.
We can achieve what Gaddafi wanted to do.
Absolutely.
One single currency, one single military, one single passport.
Absolutely. This was his vision.
To travel all around Africa without any borders. We can achieve it. It's our time now. So come along and let's do it.
And let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Let's make it happen. The solution is in our hands.
Absolutely.
Our great leaders have laid out the template for us.
Absolutely.
One African currency, one Pan-African currency, one African Union passport, and
one military forces.
Yeah, one military personnel. We will have our own military personnel.
Yeah.
And this is the solution to liberate our motherland from the 500 years of slavery. Our motherland Africa has bled for the last 5 centuries. She was raped and has been still raped. Abused.
Raped and
by
abused.
External forces. Our time has now come.
And one thing I want to add, that is my personal view. When they say that the system that France put in the 14 countries of Africa has failed. The word failed for me is to, I will not say, is not strong, because what they did is not make a system for Africa, but they made a system for themselves to benefit from us, from Africa. So in a certain way, I will say they just rape Mama Africa and abuse her in all sense and a direction that you can ever imagine. Is that they did. They just rape her and abuse her.
Yeah. And she bled for the last 5 centuries. Can you imagine?
That's it.
Enough now.
Now is enough.
No more excuses.
Enough is enough.
This
is why I say rise up. Rise up now. It's our time.
Yeah, it is.
It's our time.
Yeah.
Our time to put back our king, our queens,
our empires,
our
kingdoms,
and to work as we should work on the international stage.
Yes, as the great people that we are created to be. So fam, sorry, it does look like a sober moment for us because should I say it's a bittersweet moment right now? No, it's a time to reflect on who we are. But we now know the truth. We feel the pain of our motherland Africa, Mama Africa, because it runs through our blood, you know. When Mama Africa is in pain, we are in pain, and we are feeling the pain right now. Let us work together. I'm reaching out to all people of African descent. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.